Hello all. I hope you've had a good day. I've had a good day. I got some stuff to cover. You know, my little great city of Fort Walton Beach has added their little speed cams in all the school sections, and I didn't even realize they had one on this one, but I got dinged. I'll pay you on that. Not to worry. You know, they gonna get their money. They gonna get their money. You know, and I get it. I get the speeding violations. You know, I understand that. Like, I really do. And I didn't even realize this. I don't know. The timestamp looks a little off to me, but whatever. I question everything. I don't trust nothing. I really don't. I just don't. And we'll get to that. I mean, I told you the whole indifference in reference to my jury summons, like crap. Like, they're just everything's so entangled. It really is. And so it's just, but whatever. I'll give you that $100. Any way to nail you, they're going to. You know, but it's like, how about this? How about you clean up the streets with some other riffraff? You know, I could think of a few things. Why don't you clean up some of the dirty businesses that are in your city? Huh? Why don't you clean up some of that? Why don't you make your way to Destin? I could clean up. There's some businesses, some funky businesses out there that need a little cleanup. Need a little cleaning, a little cleansing. All right? But I'll give you this little hundun. Good gracious. You know, here's the thing with that. Okay, so I mailed my appeals to the 11th Circuit Court, all right? And I got notification that my other packet was delivered, but I have not received, I got notification on the app saying it was delivered and left at the front desk, but I have not received the signed copy. Imagine that, right? So then I get a letter in the mail from them today. This is how they finagle the corruption. Straight up. This is how they do it. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. And they said that they didn't receive my certificate of interested persons or corporate disclosure, which, oddly enough, I have it right here. It was in my packet. But not to worry. I'll be responding to this in the timely manner. Again, not to worry by any means. But it's like stuff like this. Like, you clearly received it. That goes without saying. You know, but dismissal notice. Anything to relinquish accountability at all costs, our great judicial system is going to do. Right? Because they're all involved in it too. I mean, I'm telling you. It's so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so that knows this and that no. Like, money. It's all about money. It's all about corruption. It's all about blackmail. It's all about this stuff. I mean, it's just entangled in everything. In freaking everything. And it's like, it's just so, it's so disheartening that we now live in a great nation, that they say the USA is so great. And I'm like, what's great about the USA at this point? What freedom do we have? What's great? Get back to me. Let me know, because I'll tell you the only thing that's great, let me get closer, is when you start walking in your truths, your authenticity, and you start walking with God. That's when it becomes great. In God we trust. All right. Now, although they have all of that all over, all their disclosures and stuff, where about and what y'all do, you got God running through it. When you go to these great lengths to corroborate such things, I mean, let me know. Get back to me for entertainment purposes only. You know, this is the kind of stuff right here. I do everything judicially. I do everything with due process. I do everything lawfully. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I always have been. I'm a great American. I stand on honor. I stand on faith. I stand on morals. I stand on values. And ain't nobody can tell me otherwise. I always have. So you can take it, spin it, run it, and do whatever it is you need to do on the back to make yourself feel better for the things that you have done to me my entire life, but particularly the last decade of my life. If that helps you sleep better at night, doing all these things, by all means, go right ahead. Because that is between you and God and what you carry on your conscience. My conscience is clean. That's why I walk the way that I do. That's why I talk the way that I do. That's why I look the way that I look. That's why I have the spirit that I have, the energy that I have. Because I carry a clear conscience. It's very, very simple. In order to connect with God, who resides in you, because He's inside of us all, You have to carry a clear conscience. And for some reason, that's very difficult for people. It's very difficult for people because they like money. They like power. They like greed. That's what they want. The more. And it's like, I mean, if that's what makes you happy, so be it. So be it. I'm here for whatever makes anybody happy. But when you have to go to these great lengths to tear somebody down, that's bizarre. That's bizarre. All right. But I wanted to touch on this. So a couple of my coworkers, my new coworkers, obviously, we know that they're coming down hard when it comes to people that are not U.S. citizens. All right. That goes without saying because they have plastered that everywhere, that is numero uno. And they have plastered that those that are not citizens of the United States, for some reason, every single one of them are the ones creating crime in our country. But I'd go as far as saying, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I don't believe anything they plaster on the news. Quite frankly, I'm at a point in my walk where I believe the exact opposite. So if they say something on the news channels, I know that it's actually the opposite. And that's how I get to truth. There's a little nugget for you. All right. So when you see something, believe the opposite because that is the truth. Again, for entertainment purposes only, 18 and up, take away with what resonates. This is an app. It's supposed to be with freedom of speech. We'll see how long this TikTok lasts. I'm on my 6th. I'm sure it'll, I got my backup account, whatever. However, I'd like to know, how is it that it is okay for them to remove citizens? Okay, they might not have the U.S. stamp of the Social Security number. They were so great to get. Like, you can take mine, have it. Lordy. Oh my gosh. I swear, it's just mind-boggling to me. But how is it that you can sit somebody in a holding cell for 72 hours because they are not a citizen and they were pulled over in the Great Keys, Key West, which is so funny because my previous company that I worked for had multiple businesses in the Keys too. I had to fly down to the Keys twice to help them build their long-term company there. Ask me how much more money they paid me. Not a dime. Not a dime. They made it seem like I should be so lucky that they flew me down there so I could help them build their long-term company down there the way that I built it up here. And then carry the responsibilities of that one plus mine for a few months. And ask me how much I got paid extra. Nada. Not even data girl. It was made like I should be so great, so lucky. Yeah. And it's just ironic that, one of my coworkers, a family member, is not a citizen and they got picked up and they're being held in a cell, in a holding room. But here's what is mind-boggling to me. How can a citizen be removed from our country when they're married to a U.S. citizen and they have children? Why don't you guys look at these things? Why don't you look at their lifestyle? Why don't you look at their life activity? Why don't you look at those things? Because there are so many U.S. citizens, particularly in the United States, that have Social Security numbers that are doing extremely wrong inside the nation, and you're not worried about them. You're not worried about them. Why? Why aren't you worried about them? Why aren't you worried about all the law officials and all these people in the judicial system doing very, very corrupt things? Why aren't you worried about that? Instead, you're worried about taking, and again, I'm not speaking on behalf of all of them. Again, I know the statistics they provide us, but I believe half of the stats. I know what's in my heart and soul. That's what I know. And it breaks my heart that they're tearing families apart just because they don't have the U.S. stamp, even though they've been trying to get it for years. And that's a whole nother angle. People try to get it and then they make it so difficult to get. It's like they're setting people up to fail so they can just completely barricade and ruin these families and take away their parents from their children. How is this okay? How is this a godly nation? Everybody has a heartbeat. Why don't you do your due diligence? Why don't you look into their lifestyle? Why don't you see what kind of law, they broke? No, you don't care about that. All you care about are the social security numbers and how you can tear people